Scotland makes it illegal to smack the children. A woman demands free Chick-fil-A after claiming she's an FBI agent. And a Brazilian man marries himself after his fiancé breaks it off. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, leading you into the week with some weird stuff from around the world. Per usual, I'm your host, Jonesy. Happy to be here. Weird AF News is the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian, I'm very proud to say, and I'm so glad you're here listening. Thank you. Let's do it.
You're listening to Weird AF News with Jonesy.
Scotland becomes the first part of the UK to make it illegal to smack your children. Smacking is now off limits in Scotland. Sorry, parents. This is making Scotland the first part of the UK to bring in a ban on smacking the old kids around. Children have the same protection from assault as adults after the change came into force over the weekend. The Scottish Parliament approved the move last year, and Wales is expected to follow suit by 2022. Smacking is still permitted in other parts of the UK if it is, quote, reasonable punishment, according to the Children's Act of 2004. What is reasonable punishment? I'd love to know. Is it when you catch your kid breaking into your liquor cabinet? Or maybe sucking down that detergent under the sink? What about watching porn at the age of 4? What is permissible? I don't know. What is deemed reasonable punishment? It'll depend on each case, but it cannot be used to justify serious physical punishment such as wounding, actual bodily harm, and grievous bodily harm. Well, I guess those are the categories of bodily harm. You have wounding, and then that's probably just a small bruise. Then you have actual bodily harm, which I imagine is like breaking the skin, maybe stitches. And then grievous bodily harm, which is like, pulling off your kid's arm or something, right? That would be grievous, I'd imagine. This is a nightmare issue all over the world. I mean, I'm not a parent. Obviously, I don't think it's okay to cause grievous bodily harm or actual bodily harm or even wounding. I think that sort of serious physical punishment is not appropriate. But what about just smacking your kid around just a touch? Like, what do they say about that? Let me keep reading the article. The children's minister, Marie Todd, said, I'm very pleased that Scotland has become the first part of the UK to legislate to ensure that children, without exception, have the same protection from assault as adults. Wait a minute, are we talking about assault in general in the real world or just from your parents? I'm a little confused. Obviously, in the world, children should have the same protection from assault. Like, if a stranger assaults the child, there should be ramifications to that. You mean to tell me in the UK that anyone can assault a child and there's no laws against that? There's no protection? I assume this was from the parents, correct? This person goes on to say, this outdated defense has no place in a modern Scotland. It can never be reasonable to strike a child. This law sets out in clear terms physical punishment should no longer be part of childhood in Scotland, and it marks a momentous step in making it a country where children's rights are truly recognized, respected, and fulfilled. It sounds to me like children just in general don't have rights in Scotland. Is that what's going on? I thought this was a move to prevent parents from punishing their children in a certain way. Like in the States, we really don't hit the kids anymore, and you see the kind of dickheads they grow up to be. So do you ever notice a child that wasn't hit ever as an adult needs a punch in the face? Do you ever notice that? Hey guys, it's just jokes. You shouldn't hit your kids. Wah, wah. Never. It's never okay. Even though I was beat up quite regularly, but that's okay. I'm still dealing with that. Back to the story. Someone named John Finney, who introduced the bill here, said that during his campaign he met many people in Scotland who thought smacking was already illegal. Yeah, I mean, I just assume you can't smack around kids in general. It shouldn't be okay to do that. Parenting, what a parent does to educate or to sort of, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Discipline the child. That's usually, it always has been a private matter, but I think now it's becoming more public. In the U.S. especially, it's definitely frowned upon, and actions can be taken. And I was just wondering if it was like that in Europe. I noticed in Asia, I traveled Asia a bit. They're still smacking the kids around, and I gotta tell you, they're quite behaved. The countries I went to, they didn't litter. They actually got the trash in the barrel. I mean, if smacking the kids around means no trash next to the barrel, I never have to see that again. Oh, that's great. I'm totally into that. All right, look at the jokes. Okay, hey, look, I'm not a parent, so you parents, you tell me what you think about this. Okay to smack around the kids a little bit, just a touch, not to do grievous bodily harm, clearly, but just shake them a bit. Now, you may not like the sound of that, shaking your kid a little bit, but it prepares them for a world that is really going to shake them up. Let's be real, okay? I mean, no one who was not hit as a kid can handle 2020, I'd imagine. A woman demands free Chick-fil-A. She claims she's an FBI agent and she gets free Chick-fil-A, but it didn't work. She's arrested. Let's get into the details of this crazy lady. I love her plan, though. She wants some free Chick-fil-A. Who doesn't want that? I think there's other ways to get it, though, but let's find out what she tried. Maybe we can learn something here, guys. Free food isn't worth getting arrested over. Authorities arrested a lady in Dallas, Georgia, after she allegedly tried to convince restaurant workers that she was an FBI agent and that she should get free food because she's an FBI agent. Even when police officers arrived, the woman apparently continued to claim she was a federal agent. Now, I'm looking at a photo of this woman, and she doesn't look like a federal agent. She does look like someone that enjoys Chick-fil-A. That's for damn sure. Definitely not an FBI agent. I mean, unless you call looking like Kathy Bates an FBI agent. Her name is Kimberly George Ragsdale. She attempted to get some free chicken from a Chick-fil-A, although we could argue if that's really chicken. We don't know what that is yet. I think the jury's still out on that Chick-fil-A. She tried to get some Chick-fil-A, I'll just call it that, by pretending to be an FBI agent. It doesn't say what she said her FBI agent name was. I think that's important. You want to pick a good one, a solid FBI agent. You want to say, yeah, I'm Agent Morgan. That's a strong one, right? I'm Agent, you don't want to be like, I'm Agent McGillicuddy. That just seems silly. No one's going to believe you. It's got to be a strong agent name, is what I'm saying, for them to believe you. You also need a badge. You got to show a badge, obviously. Let's find out if she showed one. Let's find out if she made one on a napkin or something. The Polk County Standard Journal reports employees were apparently not very convinced that she was an FBI agent. Well, I wouldn't have been either, just looking at her. They called 911 to report the lady. According to the media, this is not the first time that Ragsdale has attempted to get free food and has threatened to arrest employees when they don't provide the free food. Ooh, I wonder what other aliases she used in attempts to get free food before. Was she like, I'm one of the backup singers in Earth, Wind, and Fire. I want free Wendy's. What did she do? That's a ridiculous one. She's like, she's tried the FBI. I wonder if she tried the IRS. That's a scary person. If you were like, I work for the IRS, give me some free food, I would be like, sure, take it. I'm afraid of the IRS. Definitely take. We want to be on good terms with the IRS. You take all the French fries you want, Agent Ragsdale, whatever your name is. So they called 911. They reported that this lady claims she's the FBI, but apparently she doesn't look that way. Officers arrive. Ragsdale reportedly continues to claim she's a federal agent. She allegedly told the officers she had no identification because her credentials were electronic only. Electronic. Oh, I thought she was going to say something. I'm really undercover. I can't show you. I'm so undercover that I don't even carry an ID on me. That's how undercover I am. I can't be captured by the enemy and have my ID on me, okay? And I'm so undercover. I'm playing a street person with no cash, so I have no money to buy Chick-fil-A. So I'm just asking for some free Chick-fil-A while I'm on the clock here. Couldn't even get that out. Of course, the officers placed her in handcuffs and arrested her. She reportedly pretended to talk to a supposed radio inside her shirt, reporting that she was being arrested and that the FBI needed to send someone to help her. Oh, that's great. I love that she just kept it going. She totally kept it going in the back of the cruiser. She's just talking into her shirt. I'm being taken to the Rockmart Police Department. You know the coordinates. You guys should send some representation there to get me off. She just kept it going. In a statement obtained by the media, Rock Mart Police Chief Randy Turner said, "We are thankful for the observant and professional staff at CFA who knew what to do and gathered the information needed for us to make our case and catch her in the act. We would like to inform our citizens to call 911 if someone is claiming to be an officer, if they aren't in a marked car or in a proper uniform, or if they don't have the proper credentials, if they happen to be ordering chicken sandwiches and they look like they would enjoy a chicken sandwich, but they don't look like they could, run a mile, which is really required by our agents. They need to look at least like they could, move their arms a little bit, just more than just raising a chicken sandwich to your face. They should look like they could serve the public. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, thank you very much." A Brazilian man's fiancé breaks off the engagement, so he married himself. Yeah, he married himself. He's a Brazilian doctor, and he's going viral across social media for his high spirits. His high spirits, or because he's an insane person? Let's find out. This is after he married himself in a ceremony attended by his family and his loved ones. Oh, they really must love him to be going to a ceremony where he married himself. I meet a lot of doctors now that I'm in my mid-30s. And I gotta say, prior to this, I just thought doctors really had it together. They don't. They don't have it together. A lot of them are idiots. Really, it's a shame. It's all that schooling, and you still end up stupid. I don't understand. This is one of them. Is Dr. Diogo Rebelo, age 33. He went viral for his beautiful wedding that took place at a resort in Bahia, where he exchanged vows with himself in front of guests and followed all the rituals. Oh, all the rituals, really? As if there's rituals for you to marry yourself? I have a feeling he made some up as they went along. And I have a feeling that the guests pretended that it was all okay and normal. Good for them. I mean, of course, I assume they just have to get all liquored up. You really got to be liquored up to stand in attendance of a guy marrying himself and just pretend it's all good. It's all good. And then go out there and share the cake and the dance and all that. And just not laugh your ass off. Laugh your damn ass off and wonder why you're there. The article says there's some twists. Oh, what twists? Did his fiancée show up and then and beat up the bride, the imaginary bride, and take over? It just says Rebelo decided to go through the wedding that approximately cost 350,000 Brazilian dollars, even after his fiancée broke off their engagement after a series of fights. That's the twist? What's the twist? This seems like just a straightforward. Footage from the day shows the doctor saying, oh boy, "I do," to himself in front of a mirror, surrounded by guests. I guess that's the ritual. If you're going to marry yourself, you have to go get a big mirror. Was it full length? I wonder. In a post, he added that the difficult episode in his life has taught him that whoever wants to be with you will be. Okay. Well, I mean, you count yourself as that? Oh, a lot of this article is written in Portuguese, so let me get back to the English part. The good thing about marrying you, here's a quote from him. The good thing about marrying you is that there are no protocols. You have the freedom to have fun any way you want. Am I wrong? There was a bouquet of flowers. Yes! This is an insane person, clearly. Clearly, he's in a post seen holding a bouquet, tossing it to the wedding party. A ritual that's mostly reserved for brides, by the way. Another unique ritual, it says, at the wedding was that his grandmother tied a special bracelet around his wrist. Footage shows him taking of his engagement band. Quote, "When God made his alliance with man, he created the rainbow, and in a symbolic act, my wedding ring is a colorful sapphire bracelet to remind me that my alliance is with God Creator and not with men." I'm so confused. Wow, his grandmother, I'm looking at a photo of her as she ties the ribbon around his wrist. She looks very pleased to be doing it. She's either really pleased, really wasted, or she's just the best actor I've ever seen. There's a lot of people here clapping. One guy looks very displeased, actually. He's a bearded fellow. You can tell, like, his inner monologue is like, oh my God, I could be watching football right now, and instead I'm at this wedding where a guy is marrying a guy. He spent $350,000 on this stupid wedding. I had $10,000 to spend on mine, and I married a lady. And I had $10,000. This guy's spending $350K, and he's marrying himself. This is ridiculous. Life is not fair. Why am I here? That would be his inner monologue, but just imagine that in Portuguese. Dr. Diogo specializes in cosmetic procedures. Oh boy, he's a plastic surgeon. This guy's raking in the dough. I'm very surprised he's stuck marrying himself. This guy could find anybody. He's good looking. He's a doctor. He just got some underlying issues, I think, is what's really going on, you know. He's got a very positive attitude about his ex-fiancée as well. He calls her a great teacher, and said that she taught him the value of a person. You showed me how special I am and how much I have the potential to realize my dreams, including this. Make my commitment to loving myself first and foremost. Yeah, you know, I'm not anti-loving yourself. I mean, I think that's an important part of being a human being. It's not easy to love yourself because our culture finds so many ways to make us feel like crap about ourselves. You know, like you turn on the TV and it's all hot people. Commercials that tell you, like, your life is incomplete without this gadget or this huge car or this house or this pill or whatever. And then you say to yourself, man, maybe I do need that pill or this house or that weird device that lets you slap and chop vegetables really quickly to feel like a complete human being. You know, you actually ask yourself those things. So it's hard to love yourself. Absolutely. I believe that you should try. You should do your best. I think marrying yourself, I think that's just taking it to a level of crazy. That's all. That's all I'm going to say about that. You guys may disagree, though. You may disagree. You may think that this is a healthy move. I'll tell you what it is good for. If you want to marry yourself, it's a great test to see who your real friends are and family, if they really love you, because they will be there and they will appear to genuinely support you while you're doing this insane ritual. So that's a good way to test them. Anyways, I'm going to leave you the phone number because I'm sure you want to say something about this. 646-450-2012. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Hey, it's Jonesy. I hope you had a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed the Florida Friday episode. Thanks to everyone who sent me Florida articles. They were tremendous. Really, really great stuff. So I appreciate that. I want to give thanks to Kirk, also known as KD, who sent me a nice email. Kirk wrote, I started listening to you a while back on my Google Home. I save each episode for nighttime to end the day with a laugh. Years ago, I used to collect weird newspaper clippings. Although they are probably too old for you to use, they are worth a read. I will attach them every so often when I manage to locate them one by one. Thanks for the laughs, KD. And then KD attached some old weird news, which is tremendous. Remember when you used to get your weird news from the back of a newspaper somewhere? Or like at the grocery aisle, there would be those like... I remember as a child that my mother would sometimes buy those strange papers at the front of the store. It would be like alien baby, I don't know, wins a spelling bee. It was like these stories that were just clearly not true. I mean that's a major difference. I'm doing weird news that most of the time, like 99% of the time, it's true. A couple of stories have slipped through the cracks, but they were hilarious, so who gives a damn? It was like, because, you know, entertainment's worth something, right? These things were not true at all. They were purely entertainment. And do you remember those days? That was the world you used to live in. Now, check it out. You're getting weird news delivered right to your smart speaker. Or as we say in Boston, your smart speaker. Dude, is it a freaking smart speaker or what? Dude, your smart speaker is wicked annoying. It's wicked loud. Turn down your smart speaker. All right? I like to drink Bacardi and listen to my smart speaker. Oh, man, it's such a fun word to say with a Boston accent. Anyways, I'm highly caffeinated and really, you know, just going on a tangent, as they say. But thank you, KD. I really appreciate the email. It really means a lot. You guys can always email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. Also, Christopher wrote me a nice email. Say, hey, Jonesy, the doctor's recommendation of organic chicken nuggets is definitely out there, but you also mentioned the doctor was advocating dietary restrictions. Funny enough, this actually makes sense because scientists are finding more and more a direct link between gut bacteria and autism. And then he attached a couple articles about gut bacteria and autistic symptoms. He writes, maybe some of your listeners have children with autism and may benefit from hearing this information. Christopher, and he wrote, P.S. How are you enjoying your Dapper and Wise? Christopher, you sent me the Dapper and Wise. Man, I made an announcement here, and I was looking for who the hell sent me that coffee. That was you. Oh, man, that shit is tremendous, bro. That is tremendous. So if you guys, I think I mentioned it, but Christopher sent me, there are 4 little bags. They're probably maybe 6 ounces each of coffee. And they're like, it's fancy, nice coffee. Company's called Dapper and Wise. It's the roastery, I should say. And I've opened up one of them already. I can't remember which one. It's the one that has notes of whiskey and lion pubes. No, I can't remember which one it is. They're all fancy like that, though. And it's just tremendous coffee, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad you wrote that. Damn, man. By the way, I got another gift over the weekend by Samuel Dieter from North Carolina. And it is a box of unbelievable candy. I mean, there's so much crap in here. There's dark chocolate. There's jelly beans. Do you remember these things? Ring Pops? There's Ring Pops. There's Push Pops. There's Jolly Ranchers. There's, and there's like amazing instant coffee as well. I mean, this box is filled with so many treats. Caramels. So I just want to give a big shout out to Samuel. I was looking for your email address, dude, to write a thank you, and I haven't found it yet. Maybe you reached out to me on Instagram. I got to check all the sources to find out where you've reached out to me. But I remember you telling me that it's on the way. So you guys can reach out to me on like any of the social media platforms. It's just sometimes I can't remember which one it was. So if I'm late to get back to you to thank you for something, please forgive me. I'm on Instagram @FunnyJones, Twitter @FunnyJones, Facebook Comedian Jonesy. You got the email. The phone number is 646-450-2012. What else? I got some calls over the weekend that I'm going to publish after this, and they're freaking hilarious, so make sure you stick around for that. And also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/weirdafnews, where I recently published a video Q&A where I'm answering questions from the patrons, and it's like 25 minutes long, and it's pretty insightful into my life, if you're curious about that. But maybe you don't care. Maybe you just want the news and to just go about your day. But if you'd like to learn more about me, yeah, the Patreon. But I also put up an article I came across that's really weird. It's about the music that you hear on ice cream trucks, and how there's a monopoly controlling this music, the music that's on ice cream trucks. It's just a very weird story. I never imagined all the work that went into the music on ice cream trucks. It's just like, it's just crazy to me. Anyways, I thought that was a funny, weird article, so I posted that in there. Of course, you guys can just go Google that. You don't have to join the Patreon to see that. But that's just an example of some of the stuff I put in the Patreon. I like when I come across weird videos or weird articles, I throw it in there. And, you could choose to read it or look at it or watch it or just move on with your life. But yeah, so the Patreon's pretty cool. It's patreon.com/weirdafnews, and you can also join that from my website, weirdafnews.com. If I forgot to thank anybody, please forgive me. There's a lot going on in today's episode, and I'll make it up to you tomorrow. All right, take care.
Oh, thank you.
Jonesy, you were correct to think that I would be upset about this election. And not because of the outcome necessarily, because I don't care for either candidate. I'm not a Trump supporter, and I'm dang sure not a Biden supporter. The main man who was not even on the ballot this year, who is in every video I watch on Instagram, Mr. Vermin Supreme, the rubber boot head himself, was denied yet again. This is an injustice, Jonesy. Jonesy, I can't even talk. I'm so upset. Jonesy, let's get back to brass tacks, which I don't really know what that means because I don't know if tacks are necessarily always brass. But what I want to tell you is the real story at hand is why was that boy denied access into Disney World just because he had a Glock? I mean, every 6-year-old can get into Busch Gardens with a Glock. In fact, they give you a Colt Michelob Ultra and a Glock right at the door. makes your experience worth going. And if that's better to be a Trump American or a Biden American, necessarily, I don't know what I'm saying because I sometimes talk too fast and I can't get my words out. And I just forgot to hang up.
JONESY, PAT. I'm sitting here in front of my mirror, 5:30, cutting my flat top because I got those skills. But anyhow, just wanted to let you know, Florida Friday, you gave me a lot of the Boston accent, loved it. And I tell you, I think it ought to be mandatory everybody start carrying weapons into Disney. And you're right, that small world, I'm not real sure about that place. Don't drink the water. But anyhow. So you all don't have any gyms open. Let me tell you what's heavy around your house you can lift, dude. Fill you up a couple of milk jugs. Put them on each end of a broom handle. About 8 pounds in a gallon of water. So, curl 16 pounds. And it's not breaking any kind of records. I mean, you're not Alexia or whatever that dude was from Russia. But anyhow, keep you in shape. I put in 5 miles yesterday and hit about 400 golf balls. Today I'm going to put a lift kit on my golf cart and put a winch on it because they had it stuck. Got pissed off. So I'm going to put a lift on it, put some mud grips on it, throw a winch on that bitch and make it Texas style. Keep it real. Keep it Boston.
Oh, hello, Jonesy. I heard the story you did about the girl who's restoring her virginity and raffling it off. Well, it takes a lot more than just a piece of skin to restore virginity. I mean, that ain't never coming back. Once that cherry's been popped, it's gone forever. Now, you said that you were going to restore your foreskin and start raffling it off for $5,000. Well, I don't know what you're working with there, stud, but I can tell you this, the surgery is going to cost you a lot more than $5,000, so you better start the bidding a lot more than that.
Hi Jonesy, tried calling the number and I don't know whether it's because I'm in the UK but I couldn't get through, so I thought I'd record you a message and send it this way. This is James Copper from the 40N News podcast, and I wanted to talk about the whole hymen selling fiasco that you spoke about yesterday. It's a fascinating story, but it brings up things philosophically, not just ethically, that need discussing. So over here, and I don't know if you have them in the States, but some jars of food, like jars of peanut butter, on the jar lid, we have metal lids and there's like a popper, a little button on top. And when you open that jar for the first time, the popper pops up so you can see if the jar's been tampered with. So when you're buying it in the shop, you know that it's remained sealed. Now, if I ate all that peanut butter, completely emptied the jar, and somehow managed to reseal, make the jar a vacuum so that seal goes back down, so it looks like it's unopened, that doesn't mean that's a new jar of peanut butter. Okay? So she's selling her virginity. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, I know women that, who have done horse riding and gymnastics that have told me that their hymen broke just by doing those activities. And so are they no longer virgins because their hymens are already broken? Or was losing the virginity the first time that they had sex? So for me, it is the first time you have sex. It's not just when you bust the seal. Now, this woman, and I bet there's some New York City subways that less men have entered them in a year than this lady has. Lady in the loosest terms, and loose is probably also the correct term. So, to me, it just doesn't seem right. It's false advertising, isn't it, that she's selling her virginity, because all she's done is replugged the seal and saying, no one's claimed and been here before. It's just not right. So I also just don't get this whole thing. I don't find, the whole act of breaking the hymen appealing. It's like looking at some cellophane on some food and thinking, I've got to put my finger in that and put a hole in there. It just doesn't turn me on. And, this whole virgin weird thing, right? I know a lot of men do like it, but for me, I'd rather have some dirty girl that's been around the block a few times, knows to do a few tricks in bed, and is confident and everything, then, you know, my experience as a teenager with virgins is normally you have sex and then they start crying and sit in a corner and slowly rock back and forth while holding their teddy. That just doesn't, it's just got really awkward. But it just doesn't do it for me. You know, it's not my turn on, to be honest. So, yeah, strange all round, just a strange story. It'd be interesting to see what type of blokes go for it. You know, what sort of blokes think that's appealing. I'm in your camp. Not for me. Well, I won't buy a ticket. Not more than one anyway. But yeah. Anyway, Jonesy, been watching the election as well. Absolutely crazy, but also exactly as we predicted. We knew if Trump did start losing, he would say that it was rigged and that everyone are idiots, basically. So it's entertaining anyway. You can't even write jokes about it because it is just what it is. How do you joke about a joke? So, yeah. I hope you're all staying safe over there anyway. We're in another lockdown. We've just come in yesterday, the 5th of November. We came into lockdown again in the UK for, I think, 4 weeks. So people are worrying how they're going to do the Christmas shopping. Businesses are worrying as it's the main shopping time. It's scary all round. So just to say, you know, your show, I know you just sit in your closet and do it every day, but it's putting it out there and it gives us all... I laughed out loud 3 or 4 times. That's like big belly laughs, and smiled and giggled numerous times just on today's show. So thank you for putting that out in the world. You're absolutely amazing, Jonesy. Much love, much respect. Stay safe and take care.
Jonesy, it's Gus from Rochester, New York. It's been a minute since I've called. First off, yeah, I've been waiting for my emotional support Canadian all week. Jeez, man, I'm dying. I'm waiting for it. I don't know, but also, that Brazilian that reconstructed the hymen, that does not make you a virgin again. I'm sorry. Just like the girl that was in my middle school that supposedly her mother broke her hymen on purpose so that it didn't happen when she lost her virginity, didn't make her not a virgin. It's, I think, the same idea, you know. The hymen it doesn't make it but baffling. But I'm sure there's plenty of guys lining up to pop that cherry. Jonesy, I hung up by mistake, Gus again. But yeah, plenty of guys lining up for that cherry. But also, definitely not the first virgin to be auctioned off in the world. I would probably bet that dates back to maybe 70,000 BC or something. One cave guy to get his mammoths or something from another cave guy, something like that. Or, I mean, I think there's still places in this world, not exactly sure where, but I've heard that when a daughter is offered as a wife to someone, she is checked by the father of the other family to make sure she still is a virgin. So, definitely not the first option of a virgin. Thanks. Bye.